Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with you. As I adjust this, I'm zoomed in a lot, so I'm going to ease back a bit. Hello and welcome. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe remote in there. Harold, thank you for hosting the stream. As always, my friend, I appreciate it. If you're here and you're a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, Lego remote. We got not a lot of people here right now. We're hoping we get some more people. We're chilling until we get a few more folks, and then we'll start building. Dude Wants His Rug is here. What's up, Dude Wants His Rug? Hello, hello. I'm going to retweet the stream. Any current subscriber who has not won previously is going to win a kit because it's the last build stream of the month. That's right. In case you didn't know, the first is on Saturday. We got one more day of the month. That's tomorrow. So this is the last build stream of the month, which means that this is the subscriber giveaway, where I give away a model kit. Speaking of giveaways, I'll mention this during the pause to the cause as well. I believe there's some sort of deal where you get some rewards. Oh, Blight Me just subscribed. Yes, and I got an emote thanks to Blight Me subscription. So thank you very much, Blight Me, for subscribing at Tier 1. I appreciate that very much. And, yeah, there's a new thing heading in. I don't know how long it goes till, but if you gift a sub or you subscribe, other people in the chat or in the chat room can win something, which is emotes. And I think they're to the length of the promotion. I don't know how long that goes, but thank you very much for the subscription. Oh, I also forgot to do this, so let me do the old. Which is the thing for when people, yeah. So, gift and subs, becoming a subscriber, all that is a great way to support the channel. Also, yeah, now Blight Me is entered in, along with all other subscribers that have not won previously, to win a model kit that I built on stream. It's the God Gundam for G Gundam. This is the main ass Gundam. We have talked about G Gundam and how it is problematic fave, but the Burning and Shining, the original Gundam and the God Gundam, are no joke. They are beautiful looking model kits. It's a fantastic master grade that I just wrapped up today in a box so I can mail it out to whoever wins as soon as I can. But yeah, right now we're in the pre-show segment. We're seeing if a few more folks want to join us. When they do, we'll be able to get to building on a nice Thursday night. I had some good news and some bad news and some questionable news. Welcome to the Bear Cave, says Ninja. Thank you or welcome to you, indeed. Hello. But yeah, today was a semi-eventful day. I am starting to book more people for my PAX panels and trying to solidify what those are going to be. And prepping for that. I made the announcement on the League of Heels Twitter account that the League of Heels, we will not be doing a show at PAX East, which people have been asking directly, and I felt like it was time to put out a tweet because people are looking at the schedule and they're like, did I miss it? What's going on? So I felt like it was important to put the word out there so people know. But yeah, I've got some confirmed guests for my panels. I am still looking for another person possibly for my anime panel. I think that the sweet spot is 4 or 5 people, and we're 3 right now. And I think 3 is probably need a 4th person. But I think that's going to be a good panel. Begum is raiding with a party of 3. Welcome, welcome. Let me throw the old soundboard here. That is indeed a raid. Have we talked about, I just started the stream a couple minutes ago, haven't started building yet, but welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop, where we build model kits and hang out and talk about stuff. Harold is hosting. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate that. But yeah, what was I going to say? It's at Begalm instead of Begum. Begalm. Whatever it is, thanks for the raid. And welcome. Let's go to the overhead. Why not? Let's get into the building. We'll talk as we build, right? So, working on a real grade. This is, I have been told specifically by numerous people, one of the best real grades. We started by building almost the entire B Golem. Great. Thank you very much, Deadly, for that. We started with doing the entire skeletal frame. Now we're adding in the armor. We're slowly adding the armor. This is a unique kit in that real grades, right? Our real grades are the 144 scale, so they're small. But it is almost more like a master grade in its detailed work. We were talking about you, so I just suggested a raid. Well, Harold, I appreciate the raid. Thank you, my friend. So there's some unique things about this style of kit. Most notably, generally when you're building a model kit, you start with the chest, and then you build the head, and the arms, the legs, and the waist last. Not this kit. No. We haven't built the head yet at all, because the head and the armor are pretty much one and the same. But if you wanted to, you could just not put in any of the armor in, and then this blue, the different shades of blue, and just put a head on it and make it mostly the skeleton. And you could do that, and it would be like totally fine. You have a little armor around the legs, but you could get away with that. I guess I would only do that. I mean, it'd be good for battle damage, but I guess I'd only do that if I was not, if I had a multiple. If I, for some reason, ended up with another one of these. I just like the coloring of it, and it was time to do another real grade. The Sazabi real grade we did at the end of last year is the best real grade that exists. That was the ruby, the transparent colored red kit. I may never build a real grade that is better than that. It's beautiful. Check the archives on my YouTube if you're interested. So yeah, pack stuff. Starting to get things together for that. I'm looking. Only frame we're doing that with is the new Master Grade Barb. That is, unless something changes, that's my next kit that I'm working on. I bought that with money around from Christmas time, and I believe that is winning the poll that my $10 patrons are doing. Yes, that is winning the poll. So that'll be the next kit we work on. That frame is worth getting 2 kits. That frame is beautiful. Good morning, or good evening. Why did I say morning? You didn't say morning. Stig, good evening to you. Welcome. Oops, as I just dropped my kit. I can't wait to build that. That Master Grade looks so good. And I love the full mechanics line. I think the full mechanics line is fantastic. But to be able to make that kit in a real grade form, I'm really looking forward to it. All right, so it's kind of odd to add this. I could, look, if I was having trouble, I could take the leg off. But putting this armor on with it connected hasn't been a huge problem, but, it could be. But I could also, obviously, just go ahead and remove it. And it wouldn't be a big deal. Let's see. So I said, kind of the top of the stream, that today was like a weird day. It was a mixed information. The big thing was that I talked about this earlier in the week. I own an alto saxophone, and it is a great saxophone. It was made in the 80s. It has been repaired. It was refurbished before I got it. It works great. It's a great kit, and I really enjoy it. Kenny G, right? Yeah, no, it's a great saxophone. In the past, in my previous employment, I had keys to a theater, and sometimes I would have time to kill. There'd be days where I was there early in the afternoon, and it wasn't enough time to go home, but I had just had time on my own to do whatever. And maybe I didn't need to do maintenance that day or whatever. There wasn't anything going on. I just had time to myself. And that was great times to break out my saxophone because I was in a basement space. There was nobody to interrupt me, or I was in a space that had really good soundproofing, depending on which theater I was at. And nobody to bother me, and no one for me to bother, which is important. My current apartment, I live above my landlord. My bedroom is above their living room. And my roommate, he closes his door when I stream if he's home. And it's not really a problem, but there's a difference between me talking into a microphone at a pretty, whatever, quiet volume, and me playing an alto saxophone. So since I don't have that job anymore, I haven't played it. I don't feel right playing it at home. And I'm certainly not like able to go and rent space at rent a room at a rehearsal space so that I can play my saxophone. That's irresponsible. Even if I would like to do that. So I had the saxophone, and you know what I did today? I took it to Sam Ash. There's a Sam Ash in Manhattan, and I took it in. Hello, Ultron. Welcome. Happy to have you, my friend. Happy to have you here. So I took it in to Sam Ash to see what I could get for it, what the trade-in value would be. And while the amount of repairs are not substantial by any means, they would be enough that they were like, look, a few things, not the recorking, that's easy, but a few of these pads would need to get replaced, and we're not interested in that because we have a big backlog of instruments we need to repair. Right now, we're only really accepting trade-ins or cash, or paying off cash for. I'll get to that in a second, Ultron. I will answer that question. We're only accepting trade-ins for things that we can just turn around and sell that are basically in perfect working condition, which my saxophone is not perfectly in working condition. So that was a bummer. Is Sam Ash's nickname Smash? Well, actually, Sam is his nickname. His real name is Smash Ash. So, but he goes by Sam. But yeah, so you're close. You're close, Ultra. Yeah, even better. Yeah, he's Smash, but like that's not really a name, and like it's just easier to be like Sam. And then people go, "Oh, is Sam short for Samuel?" And he has to be like, "Yeah, it is." It's a whole awkward thing. We don't like to talk about it when we hang out. Anyway, that's the thing there. Look, is this the most disappointing thing that's happened to me this week? No. Certainly not. Would I have liked to have found out a cash money for my saxophone? Certainly. That money would have been good. Also, people buy musical equipment from Sam Ash, and it would have been nice to have put it with them. But what I'm probably going to do is what I didn't want to do. What I don't want to do is sell it on eBay, because then I have to ship a saxophone, and I have to like pack it in the case and ship the case out, and like I don't know how much that's going to cost. I also don't like have a box that a saxophone fits in. So then I got to get like it packaged, and it's got to be this whole thing. My other possibility is I can use Facebook Marketplace, I guess, or Craigslist, I guess. But I don't like Marketplace and Craigslist, like both have the issue of like, hey, here's the price I want for this. Cool. I'll come get it. Great. And then they either don't show up, which happens a lot to people, or they show up and they're like, how about a ridiculously lower amount of money for that? And you're like, well, I can make this problem stop, but I probably already priced it at a reasonable price to make it move. So it's a whole thing. I might end up, look, here's the thing. Am I going to like probably put it on Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, I'm probably going to put it on Facebook Marketplace. And then if it doesn't work out, if I get some issues, if I don't get like, if I don't get interest, or if I get like some horror story stuff, then I'll just donate it. But I would like to get a little bit of money for it. Uh, but the goal really is for it to find a good home. That's obviously, for me anyway, the primary goal. I have a friend who's looking for a sax. I think he was looking for a tenor, and he's in Florida. Yeah, Harold. I mean, when it comes right down to it, like I don't know how much it costs to ship a saxophone. Like I can find out, but I really don't. That's why I don't want to put it on eBay, because then I have to ship it, and I just don't want to do that. I think it's pretty understandable why I would prefer to not do that part of it. All right, so it's gonna go like this. We're putting on the front waist armor here, the skirt as it is called in some circles, which is my least favorite part of any kit, is applying these pieces. I might zoom in a little bit more. But yeah, so that was annoying. I did, it was nice to get into the city. I stopped into a friend's coffee shop and said hi. He said tenor or alto, but he's still in Florida. Yeah, I mean, like, look, Harold, if your friend who was looking for a saxophone was in New Jersey or Connecticut or New York, I would cut your friend a deal, of course, because they would get the friend deal, of course. But I'm not shipping to Florida. Seems like it's unlikely, unless you want to unless you want your friend to buy it and then you take it on a plane back to Florida at PAX. I mean, I'll bring it to Boston. I don't want to do that, but I will. I also don't want to do that at all. So let's not do that. But that is something we could do. If it was one of those things where, like, if it was like look, it's not rare. It's just a nice saxophone. It's a nice piece of equipment. It's not like, it's several $100s new, a few $100s used. If I had an incredible thing that for some reason I couldn't get rid of, perhaps. If I knew this friend, perhaps. But yeah, that was a little disappointing. I got an offer for a job, a part-time job that I am now in talks about. It will be evenings, so I don't want to be like, I want to be tentative about it because I don't know if it's happening or not. But it is something that could be good. That was good news. And then a job that I could do from home during the day that I was excited about, that I was right for, and would have done a good job on. They went with somebody else, and that's okay, and I'm all right about that. But it would have been very flexible, and they were totally, It's also the thing of, like, anytime I'm talking to people about a job, I have to be honest with them and go, cool, cool, cool. I'm interested in this. This sounds good. I can rearrange some other things. I can make these things work. I stream, but that's certainly flexible because, of course, it is. Because it's got to be flexible. Otherwise, why am I doing it? But hey, the end of February into the first day of March, I'm going away, and I'd like to continue to do that. Right now, I guess I would. There's a reality where I don't go up on Thursday and instead go up on Friday. I can't say exactly what it is because they haven't announced who's in it, but I am in a Thursday panel. So I'll promote that when I know more. But I am in a Thursday panel, and I could just be like, yeah, I can't do it, or go up for that panel, just go up later than I would have wanted to. But yeah, that is a thing that you kind of have to like I have to be honest about that stuff. Like, I'm not telling these companies like, hey, in October I said I would work a convention, because that's so far away that that's not something I need to say. But hey, you want me to start on this date, or the job starts on this date. Cool, cool. Just so you know, I got a thing I gotta go do. I gotta go to Boston for the weekend. to perform for a lot of people and hopefully make people have a good time and help out with some stuff and do some fun things. So, sorry. It's important to know that. Ah. But yeah, yeah, today was like, a little bit of a mixed bag. Um, let's see. I want to talk about, what happened on Tuesday? Tuesday ended up being pretty great, friends. And if you were there for the Just Chatting stream on Tuesday, thank you very much for coming by. That was a good time. I have not done a Just Chatting stream before. Um, but yeah, what ended up happening was um, when we started and we kind of were hanging out and waiting for it, it didn't feel like we were going to have enough people for Jackbox. That was the goal, was because it was the bonus gaming stream, was to play Jackbox games. And we didn't have enough people for that. By the end of it, we probably could have gotten a game of something in, but I was kind of enjoying that. Like, chat was pretty active. There were some people talking, and I had stuff I wanted to talk about. And it felt good to do that. Uh, I think it's that I do a gaming stream every week now. My assumption being the fact that it used to be literally once a month I would do an extreme. Now that I do it basically 3 to 4 times a month, it's probably lost its luster a bit. Also, Tuesday night's not normally a night that I stream on, so that probably had something to do with it as well. If it had been one of my regular nights, maybe I would have had, if it had been Wednesday night, maybe would have had more people. I don't know. Can't say for sure. Uh, so yeah, I was happy to do that. I thought that was kind of a cool stream. Um, I hope people had fun that were there. Put the archive up, but yeah, we just kind of talked about wrestling stuff that was going on and with storyline things. We talked about yeah, the Royal Rumble kind of fallout, and talked about some anime stuff because of course we did. How could we not talk about anime? It's my stream. Got some stuff to talk about today with anime as well. As I kind of prep things um, for the various things. I'm in PAX East prep mode basically. Got to get my ducks in a row. I got to find out about the panels that I've agreed to be on, if I can start promoting them, or when I can start promoting that I'm on them. I need to confirm about a Sunday panel that perhaps I am on. There was I think we're going to do something. We'd like you to be in it, but we'll let you know. And then I have not heard, which might mean no, and that's fine. But if it means yes, I gotta know. But one of the nice things is I'm in a panel directly after Pat Baer's Anime Club on Saturday that's in the same room that Pat Baer Anime Club is in. So that is the best. I'm doing Let's Rank It directly after Pat Baer's Anime Club, so I don't have to leave. I'll just be there, which is so nice because like I was gonna do it no matter what. Like Lang asked me, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I like that panel a lot. I'm glad he's doing it. Again, I'm glad he's gonna be there. I love having Lang around. But the real thing was just like, oh hell yeah, I don't have to run around because like it's different than the hotels, right? The PAX West, going from hotel to hotel, like that's a trek. You got to like leave the building. Harold says, unfortunately, I have friends doing a panel opposite Let's Rank It. Well, hopefully there'll be an audio recording of it, Harold. But yeah, I mean, like that's part of the deal, right? There's always conflicts. Like those things come up. But yeah, hopefully the audio will be recorded and it'll go up on GFB radio. But yeah, at PAX East, like sometimes getting from Condor to Dragonfly, they could be next door to each other, or it could be like going to Albatross and like going diagonally across, and it's just there's no good way to get there, and like you just gotta run, and you'll make it, but it's gonna like take it out of you. And then instead it's just like, nah, maybe I'll just like give up the stage to Lang and make sure that I don't have too many people standing around after the anime club. Go out and see if people will want to talk to me after the panel, which happens, sometimes. And then that'll be it. At least they're not opposite improvised postmortem like they were last year. Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean that's unfortunately that does happen. I mean that happens to me, right? PAX Unplugged. Improvised Postmortem was opposite a panel that my friends were on, who would have been on, at least one of them would have been on that panel otherwise, but they were doing a panel. And I also could have been on that panel easily, and it would have made total sense for me to be on it. So, like, yeah, that was a bummer. With Giant Bomb not having an official presence at East, that does make some things a little easier. Of course, both of my panels feature people from Loading Ready Run, but that makes it just that means I can't be opposite anything they're doing, which has worked out okay so far. Because at West I had that unfortunate thing where they were doing Dub Fight at the same time I was doing Improvised Postmortem, and Trin Garitano had agreed to be in both of them, so they had double booked themselves. So that was frustrating. All right, so we're putting our armor on here. We're armoring up our skirts here. Getting that together. We're going to do the back part here for some weapon holding, because you got to be able to hold your weapons on the sides of your armor and the back of your armor. Oh, I apologize. I didn't put tape or anything on my finger here. If this is a bummer to people, this is just... I just scraped my finger. There's nothing. There wasn't even blood. I did it at work last night. If this is annoying to people, let me know, and I'll grab some tape or Band-Aid, or I have tape easy and put some tape on my finger. If that's because I know that sometimes like I am zooming in, so I understand. If this is a bummer for folks, just let me know and I'll take care of it. But yeah. Man, I mean, Harold knows, as a fan of Loading Ready Run, it's so nice to be able to finally collaborate with these funny folks. When we had Graham on years ago for Loading Ready for League of Heels, it felt like, oh, good, finally. I'm starting to get to know these folks better. And Ben and I just have a very nice rapport that I'm very happy about. And so it's been nice to be involved. Both Ben and Heather, or not, sorry, Ben, Beej and Heather would have been perfect for Pat Baer's Anime Club, but they went to PAX South, which I'm happy for them. But yeah, having Corey and I have had one of those, like, it's always a weird thing when I have people on panel that I'm producing that I haven't, like, I don't know of them, and like, it's the same thing when Jacob did, when I met Jacob, it was like, yeah, we've like nodded at each other and said hi. We like follow each other on Twitter. But like, that's different than being like, hello. It was probably one of those like PAX highs where you're just like, oh, hey, nod or whatever. There's like a ton of those people that I've like that, or they're like, oh, I know you, but I don't know you. I know what you do, and I know who you are, but not like what's up. And what your deal is. So that's always kind of nice to make those connections. Hello, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, it's been a little bit. Happy to have you here, my friend. I'm building a really cool kit, and I hope you enjoy it. Checking it out. But yeah, welcome. Welcome. All right, we need G120. Yeah, so we're just doing some model kit building and doing some hangouts here. Working on putting the armor on our kit. Got the back part here to hold whatever weapon it wants to hold. You did the AUEG color of this kit. Oh, nice. the one of the real grades I like. I mean, I said this previously tonight. Um, I do very much, pretty much immediately, like this real grade. This is one of the better real grades I've done. Uh, I think the Sazabi is the best one because that Sazabi is incredible. That's the best real grade I've ever built, and this one is up there. Uh, it's just it is a pleasure to put it together. I have liked it so far. So put that on there, and we'll put this on here, and then this goes there. Yeah, and this thing is just gonna, it's gonna go on the back of the kit. I can see that there. It's dark, so I apologize. Uh, there, light it up a little bit there. That's better. This is gonna go on the back and will pop off to hold a weapon, and then pop back on. Hold that weapon in place. Whatever weapon that might be. Probably a rifle. Alright, now we can do some side armor. I always find that these in real grades and some master grades don't always, these kind of like, they're not girdle, but they're like side armor pieces of the chest. Sometimes these don't go on right if you didn't do everything pitch perfect. Sometimes these are a hard fit to slide on, but we'll make do and figure it out. So this might take a second, but we'll put those on there. Yeah, I'm so excited to do that master grade. The Barbatos is an incredible kit. That master grade looks so good, and it's been sitting there waiting for me to build it, and the time is right. I don't have anything for my wish list. Look, if something comes into my wish list, and of course I'm always appreciative of it, it'll be whatever I build after the Barbatos, because that is the next kit that we're building. That master grade is beautiful. My $10 patrons have spoken. That's the one they'd like to see me build next, and we're going to do it. And I'm very excited about working on that kit. Like I said, I love the Iron Blooded Orphans full mechanics and the non-grades. I think those are so cool, and I love they exist as a step up from working in the 1/100 high grade, which is obviously, folks know, a broken record about this. That's where I recommend people start if they're interested in trying out model kit stuff, is to get a high grade in the 1/100 scale, because it's just, I think it's a good place to begin. But, obviously that's a beautiful looking, those kits are just fun to build and fun to put together. And then also with the full mechanics, once you built one, a lot of them are very similar in their skeletal builds. So it almost becomes a little old hat, which, can be boring if you're doing a bunch in a row. But also, if you're just trying to get better at doing model kit stuff, it can be kind of cool. Of course, we'll talk about anime after the pause of the cause and after we figure out who won the God Gundam Master Grade that I built that's going out to a lucky subscriber. But there is news. There is news that there is going to be a 10-episode One Piece live-action show for Netflix. And I have to look. I'm going to look up a detail on it. So, look, do I think that the Death Note live action was good? No. Am I worried about the Cowboy Bebop? I mean, I'm only worried about Cowboy Bebop because I care about it a lot. But I don't know. There's something kind of cool about a a live action One Piece. And then apparently someone I know works for Tomorrow Studios who is doing it. It's somebody that I used to know a bunch of years ago. My friend Lindsay, because she posted on Facebook about it. And I was like, wait, what? Uh, and yeah, of course, Oda is excited about that, but Oda is excited about everything. He just likes when people like One Piece. I want to know what the budget for One Piece show will be. Yes, right now they have not said what the budget will be. Um, uh, what's with the live action for Netflix? I want to come out and just say that uh, the board thinks cartoons are for kids. Um, I mean, the Death Note wasn't for. Look, was the Death Note good? Uh, no. Mr. Bob, I think they think that adaptations of anime is the new place to get adaptation ideas from. I think they think that anime is the new source material uh, to pull from instead of books or whatever. It's manga and anime because what I assume they think is from reading the press release and who's involved and various other things is that uh, they think that an audience that liked the thing a bunch of years ago grew up and now wants to watch it again. Because obviously they're targeting new fans of things, but like they're not making. It doesn't seem like. It seems like from reading about it. So, yeah, dystopian fiction is done. Ultron, I think it might be. Um, I think it's diminishing returns on a lot of those stories. Um, we'll be able to see. But I think Netflix is betting on uh, people that liked anime who grew up to be like, oh, yeah, I used to watch anime. What's this thing about? Oh, I remember this. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Yeah, it'll never be done, not grind style. But I think we're past the point where anyone who writes one gets a 5 movie deal. I think we're past that. Also, hi, not grind style. Happy to have you here, my friend. I think we are at the point now. It seems like we're at the point now where they're not just licensing everything that comes up, but it's not over yet because young people still want to read fiction that doesn't talk down to them. Young people are always going to be interested in fiction that, like, quote unquote, gets them. I think that that's always going to be an important thing. All right, so we get to choose. Here's a weird choice that we can make. The Giver came out in '92. Yeah. Oh, certainly. Um. So, hey, folks, do we want 2 gold vents or one big gold vent or 2 vents? I think we want 2 vents. We can decide the golden pieces on our armor here. I think we're going to go with this because I think it looks more advanced. It's like, oh, this thing's more powerful than previous versions. We got to put more vents on it. I like the options, right? I like the minor customization. There's a little customization here on the sides as well. I think we'll go with those. We can put those aside. But of course, I will keep them for people that really want that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be, but I think that there are a lot of people that don't think that they can invest in the anime of One Piece because it's been on for so long. Like the early dub is terrible. 4Kids did a very bad job, so you got to go in subtitle up until a certain point where you can start watching the dubs. It's not bad. It's a lot. It's convoluted. It's a lot. It's a great story, and it's not the best adaptation of a manga, certainly. There's a lot. There's just a lot to the show, and a lot of lore, and a lot of knowledge you have to have about it, and it feels overwhelming. And there's just so many episodes and movies and specials and all this shit. It's just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel approachable. Whereas, like, they're saying the first season is going to be 10 episodes. It'll be interesting to see, like, how much of that is, like, them at sea in a rowboat. uh, before they find Nami and like get a boat, a real ship, uh, or like how much of it is just like I don't know like how many episodes is it going to be Luffy and Shanks, like and past and young Luffy. What are they going to change? How faithful is it going to be? Uh, I could see them really cutting down on um, like certain backstories and certain like because like the fights with the guy who hypnotizes people and the guy that's kind of like a cat, that pirate crew, uh, that storyline is like fine, but certainly like I think maybe takes its time setting stuff up. Uh, but I also like Elastic Man didn't look awesome in he looked all right, but he didn't look great in the Flash. So I don't know how Luffy's gonna look. I just don't know. I don't know how Road Man's gonna look in live action because, uh, like I said, Elastic Man is the live action comparison you can make. Uh, I bet they'll get through Buggy. Yeah, I don't know, Ultron. It depends on how fast they want to go, right? Like, like how much they how how much of the story in 10 episodes they want to tell. Um, a solid formation of some of the crew, it certainly makes sense, but and they could also skip forward, and cut out a lot of the building and a lot of the like him going out to sea and trying to figure things out and they could just start with Luffy wanting Zoro to be the first member of his crew and just start there because the explanation of what his ability is to Kobe uh, is possibly a great place to start with the show. Like we as an audience already know that he's eaten this devil fruit and he has gum powers. But what if we didn't know that? And he's saving this little kid who wants to join the Navy and has been conscripted into being a pirate. And he's just like, oh yeah, don't worry about this. I got this. That might be a fun way to be introduced to the powers. And then later they can like introduce who Shanks was and go through all that part of the story and get into that. I don't know. I like the idea of it. Why the fuck not? Not opposed. Hope the cast is into the show and into the character. That's or the characters, and are excited to do it, and that they've got some money behind it, and that Netflix is like gung ho about it. The nice thing about it is that obviously it's a fantasy world. Then the thing is like, hey man, locations are going to be expensive. Like that could be a very expensive show. This is a lot of new towns and stuff for like what would end up being like an episode of the TV show. So I could see that becoming a very expensive project. But I don't know. I don't mind a live action thing. Uh, America has had certainly less success. Sorry, I would have been on earlier, but I basically spent the last hour and a half crying. That Good Place series finale ruined me. I have not watched it. I'm like a season behind on The Good Place, but that's no surprise that it wrecked you. Um, uh, Can't imagine it's like one for one of the manga. Oh no, there's no way the pacing will be that slow. It's got to speed things up. It's got to cut things. there will be characters that don't show up. Uh, well, Lashbrook, that's a great obviously like it's a weird thing to be like, hey, I'm glad you cried. Like that's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm glad that you watched a piece of media that affected you like that, and that the show meant something to you. That's awesome. Uh, someday I will get to watching that whole show again or finishing that show off. Talking about the One Piece live action show. Yes, we are talking about the live action One Piece. So for me, it's that thing of like, look, America has not been stellar when it comes to live action. Like, oh, that fucking M Night's Dragon Ball. Fire Ray just subscribed. Thank you very much. Let me hit the old applause. Yes, and they're doing a promotion right now where folks get some emotes for a limited time if you gift a sub or if you subscribe. People in the chat will be gifted, which is a cool little thing they're doing. It's a new promotion that I think just started today. So if you want to become a subscriber. And now, of course, Fire is available to win a model kit, the God Gundam for G Gundam. Beautiful kit that I'll be sending out to a subscriber because it's the last stream of the month. And when it's the last stream of the month, I send out a model kit to someone. Somebody wins. It is... Harold just redeemed it. Play the soundboard. I will play the soundboard, Harold. We'll do the old... And then, of course, we'll do... Soundboard. And... Why not? Why not do the fart sound as well? All right, so we are... we're building some shoulder armor here. We can build them at the same time, so we're building them two at a time. Armor. And on that note, good night. Good night, Harold. Thanks for being here. Have a great evening. I'll see you soon. Japan has certainly done live action. I think the Initial D movie is pretty cool. There are some video game adaptations that aren't great in Japan, but anime adaptations can be okay. I have not... I don't know if Love is Hard for Otaku, if that came out. If that live action came out. I just realized I don't know. Because those are things that we don't get here, right? Like, we're getting more and more the film. Let me see here. Okay, no, that's coming out this year. Oh, it's going to be in theaters in like a week. February 7th. That's the one thing that, it makes sense, right? If I've watched that live action movie on Netflix, and they sure make some choices. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, some of them are like, oh, these are really cool. And sometimes it's like, it makes sense why you don't see them, subtitled, maybe fan subbed. The Rurouni Kenshin movie is good. It's not great, but it's good. You'll see more, romantic comedies and things like that make sense. And, of course, then Japan has radio dramas and stage plays. The One Piece stage play is apparently really fun. People really like it. That's apparently a very, very popular touring show in Japan. That I've heard good things about. So that's nice to know that there's been a One Piece thing that people have been into that was live action. I don't know if that's going to translate. I have no idea. Trying to think of the other live action. If there's any other live action stuff that I've seen, then I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. I can't really think of anything. But like I said, I don't go out of my way to find those. I have watched some Sailor Moon. I watched a Sailor Moon musical that was licensed. It was a touring production in Japan, and that was pretty neat. It was pretty fun. There's some cool practical effects in that. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, there's so much of that, and like I said, not a lot of that gets subtitled. officially or licensed or comes out here in the United States. Sometimes it does, but it's not. It's not anyone's priority, and that makes sense. We'll talk after after a pause for the cause, which is coming up in a little bit. We'll talk about like how weird it is that like uh, I watched an OVA that just came out on HiDive, which I forget that I have because when I use I have a Verve account, but I just say Crunchyroll and I just use Crunchyroll's site, so I forget that I have access to HiDive. And then I was looking at like this OVA, and it said like, "Oh, it's on HiDive," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have that. I can just watch it on through Verve." So yes, I watched an OVA, and I was like, "Oh, they had the other OVA that I never saw," and I was like, "Oh, I guess I should like keep it. I guess I should look to see what's on HiDive that might not be on Crunchyroll." And then I forget, like, yeah, there's stuff. It's not just that they part of the reasons why they partnered with them is because they have dubbed content and licenses for dubbed things when they lost the Funimation collaboration. Um, but I was also like, oh yeah, like, there's probably things on here that like I didn't know I could watch, like movies. Like the Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon movie is on HiDive, which I borrowed a Blu-ray from a friend of mine to watch it. It had to like set things on my Blu-ray player and do a bunch of nonsense to make that work. And I was like, oh, okay. Could have just watched this easier. Oh well. Um, all right. So we've had some choices here with armor, and we've got another choice coming up that we can make. We can make the choice of which of these. I'm not going like I'm a little bit mixing and matching with these, but we're mostly just kind of looking at it like, oh, does this look right? Is this something I want? This They're slightly different, but not like super different. So there's not a lot of difference between these two, and so I don't know which one I definitely want to put on. So I'm going to put one of each on and kind of look at it. I don't think it really matters. I don't think this matters. I'll make sure they're matching, but like it's not really. I think I like this one better. So let's find the one that matches that, which is this one here. Yeah. Thrilling, I know. But yeah, we'll do the pause for the cause in a moment or two. We'll figure out who won the model kit that I built, the God Gundam, and we will then start talking about some anime I watched this week. Because I watched some anime this week. A little bit more than normal. Did the shoulders use the same numbers? So the shoulders had like I had like D1 and 2, and it was either D10 on each of them or D11. You can see that on here. It gave me the options. It was like, do this one or do that one. And they're slightly different. But since these are identical, they, didn't matter if I was pulling that from either. We did the same thing on our sides here. I went with, I don't know why, I just picked one. Like I said, I'm sure if I knew a lot more about this one, I'd be like, oh yeah. Oh, John the Knight just subscribed using Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. Let's throw the Bear Cave leg of the scythe emote in the chat. And thank John. Thank you for that. Thank you for subscribing. And hope people enjoy their random emotes. As I said, if you gift a sub or you receive a sub, you will get a cool emote. And yeah, appreciate that, everybody. All right, we'll finish these shoulder pieces here. We got to put some things in, and then we'll put those on. Yeah, we got another option here. Our vents, and we should make sure that our vents here are identical to the front vents because we can do this has multiple slots in the front, and the other one just had one. So we'll see if that looks any different. We'll just do one. We're basically going to do one of each and look at it. Because that, to me, is the best way to figure it out. Is we'll just do one of each one of these and then make the decision on how it looks. 11. Yeah, like I said, if I knew more about the show, right, I could make a judgment of like, well, I like this version of the kit better than this version of the kit, so or this later revision, or oh, when it came out and it did these things, I was like, fuck yeah. But since I don't really have that appreciation for this particular kit, I'm just kind of going off of how I think it looks, and I might be mixing and matching and having a grievous error that I can never take back, or whatever. Showing disrespect for the true fans of this model kit, or whatever. Okay, so that's one, and then they still make heavy arms or heavy arm custom kits. So there was a re-release of the heavy arms that came out, I think in 2012, and that might be the last time they re-released it. There is a new quote-unquote version of it that is P Bandai, which is their like really expensive with extra stuff that's based on a manga for the heavy arms. But that's mostly the 2012 or 2011 kit with some extra pieces. Where do you get your kits? So I primarily get my kits from Amazon. When we take our pause for the cause, which I plan on doing in a little bit, where I talk about ways you can support the stream, I'll mention my Amazon wish list. I primarily use Amazon because I have my wish list. Now, I often will buy kits for myself if I'm buying kits. I might go to a store here in New York. Or I might buy stuff from USA Gundam store, which has some pretty good deals, and I like them. But because I often, get supplied by the community, which is rad as hell, I have the wish list because it is the easiest way for people to buy stuff. Someday I'll just have a P.O. box, and you can just mail me things from any site you want to. But right now, it's convenient to buy things through Amazon. Okay, so this is not clipping on the way I would like it to. Okay, that's what I do there. And then this goes like that. Yeah, I haven't picked up that heavy arms, the new version of the heavy arms that has just more and more weapons on it, because it's not a brand new kit. All right, so now I got to decide which. I think I like the recessed vent better. So these are the two vent piece options we have. One is right here on the edge, and one is wider and recessed, the vents. And I think I like the recessed vent better. I'm going to put that just kind of like on here. I mean, I can always change it up, but I think I like this one better. So we will remove this. And then we will use 27 and 8. I think that's gonna be good. All right, so we'll finish this piece up here, and then we will take our pause for the cause. For those that are new, or maybe don't come here that often, that may be a reminder. The pause for the cause is just this silly way I say it is a break in the stream. Instead of constantly reminding you of ways to support the stream and all that stuff, I just take one break in the middle of the action, halfway through the stream, and mention ways. Watching you build kits always makes me want to fulfill my childhood dream of making a heavy arms. So, I would say, Amazon's a great place to start. You can also look at like Barnes and Noble has model kits sometimes. They might not have exactly what you're looking for, but they do have some stuff. I mean, online is probably best for finding things. If you were someday going to build a heavy arms, I would say you should look for the 1/100 scale of the high grade HG 1/100. You can find the heavy arms custom in high grade, and it's a good kit. It's a solid kit in that scale. But yeah, the 1/100 is a great size. This is 144. This is small. So that way you're working with bigger pieces. The high grade is a great starter place to do it. You can find them on Amazon, but like Gundam Wing's popular enough that you can find those kits at hobby shops, places that sell that. If there is a model kit community, or if there's a model building community, in your neighborhood, your area, your town, if there is a, sometimes there isn't a hobby shop that has that stuff, right? But your local comic book store carries a few things, and they might be able to order something for you. Because they order specialty things all the time, and they might be able to put an order in because they're restocking their model kits. Or one of the employees of that comic book shop builds Gundam and knows where to get the good Gunpla. Because you're like, oh, well, you want to go 2 towns over to this place in the shopping center that has, it looks like it just sells tabletop stuff, but in the back, they got a room full of model kits, or whatever. That is an option that I think that people sometimes completely forget about, that they have the option to ask somebody, especially in smaller towns. I found that in smaller areas, places that are a comic book shop isn't going to live alone on just selling comic books, right? They're going to have their video game nights. They're going to have their Magic the Gathering nights. They're going to they're going to have signings for things, and they're going to have a section of import DVDs of Kung Fu movies, because because that'll draw in some eyes, and they have their wall scrolls from popular anime, and whatever. And they might have a poor, not complex, not deep model kit section, but they also might have a way to get them. If you have a Hobbytown USA, yeah, Hobbytown, yeah. Some hobby shops not all of them, but some hobby shops don't love snap kits like Gundams, like Gunpla. They're more interested in the glue kits, but that's in the same way that some hobby shops, yes, that's the same way that some comic book shops don't carry manga. They don't carry graphic novels of manga. They only carry DC and back issues of DC and Marvel stuff, and they might not even have that big a selection of indie titles. They might not carry any Oni or anything that's or Archie. They don't even carry Archie comics because they're so narrow in their focus. So yeah, some hobby shops are not going to have cool robots. They're going to have cars and planes, which can be cool, but they don't have beam swords. But yeah. Also, they're a dying breed, but sometimes in malls there are anime stores. Hobbytown is 20 minutes from me. You should stop by. You should, John. You should. Hey, at the very least, you can pop in and take a look around and see what's up. See if they have anything in stock that piques your interest, or if they have a small selection, you can always ask and go, "Hi, do you do custom orders? Where do you get your supplies from? Do you have a catalog for model kits? I'm interested in picking something up from Gundam Wing." Or if you're going to look, you know, you can always go to Amazon I always go to when I got back in Gundam Planet for the high end stuff. Yes, Gundam Planet's great to look around and see what's available. Um, but you know, Anime Store doesn't have kits or stuff. Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's how I got into it. Was my Anime Store. This is in the late '90s. Uh, I was really getting into Gun and Wing. I went in to buy some Dragon Ball VHS tapes because that's dating me. And I looked on a wall and they had Gunpla, and I was like, "Oh, I could build a death scythe." And I was like, "Hi." I went and talked to one of the employees that I kind of knew from being in the store, uh, and I was like, I really like Gundam Wing, and I really like the Death Scythe. Could I build one of these? And he was like, you want to get the 1/100 high grade. This is the kit you want to start with. He opened up the box, showed me the pieces, said like, hey, these are the sizes. I'm not going to, he didn't unpackage them, but he was like, take a look. This is what you're going to do there. You want to get a good pair of clippers. You could use kitchen scissors if you wanted to. You could use wire cutters if you have to. Follow the instructions, go on AOL and look at some video of it, get some real media video play of it. He was really helpful. And I walked out of there with a Gundam that I was very scared to build. And it wasn't the best build I ever did, but I loved it. I loved it so much. There is a good Gunpla section at Hobby Shop called Comics to Games in Florence. Near Kentucky. Last I was there, I picked up the RE100 Gun EZ. Oh, nice. Oh, the RE100s are great kits. Yeah, sometimes you'd be surprised. I remember there's a store in New York here called The Complete Strategist. And they don't like trading cards. They fucking hate if you ask them if they sell magic cards. They fucking hate it. They hate if you ask if they sell like card games or like apples to apples. They're like in it for strategy games. They're in it for, like I like to say, old man games. They like old man games. They're called The Complete Strategist. They're not going to sell, if they sell model kits, they sell model kits of World War II planes, and you need glue to put those together. The hate for snap models is weird because US-based snap models are cheap, but Gunpla quality has always been miles ahead. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think it's just that, like, Gundam is flashy. I always find it weird when people look down on other games. Yeah, and it's a thing where it's just like, that's why like small mom and pop hobby shops generally carry a bunch of different kinds of things because they're hoping that something kicks off. Like, oh, well, there's a new expansion of Magic. And we know that there's 12 people that come to our store that love Magic the Gathering. So we're going to have those cards for them. And we'll order something. We're going to have some cards for them to come in and they like to play. And we've got some tabletop stuff. And there's a new dungeon. There's a new module for Dungeons & Dragons that people are happy to. It's possible they, yes, Ultron, it's possible they get burned. But mostly it's just like, sometimes it's just like, the hope is that they like, that you can find some common ground, right? I know comic book shops that make most of their money selling action figures, and I know comic book shops that don't carry any action figures because they're like, no, that's not our business. We're not an action figure store. I also have been to stores that specialize in action figures that have zero wrestling, which is in the subset of people. Action figure model kit, action figures, just action figures alone, are such a small subset of fandom. And within that subset, the large majority of people who are the most dedicated and willing to spend money are people that love wrestling action figures. And to have a store that's like, we sell action figures, but not this one. He's like, well, that's a vendetta you have. I guess, man. I mean, you live your best life, but like that always seemed bizarre to me. That people were like, nah, we don't sell this thing that would be helpful to us. Anyway, speaking of selling, I gotta tell you about ways that you can support the stream if you'd like to. First and foremost, if you're a subscriber, hey, let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego. If you're a tier 2, you can throw the scythe in there. Let the people know. This is a pause for the cause. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the stream if you'd like to. You're under no obligation to do so, but I would love it if you could. That's one way, right? One way is becoming a subscriber, using your Twitch Prime coin, using Cash Money. That's a great way to support the stream. As I said, a subscriber is going to win the God Gundam. It's a kit I built, and that way you get yourself a kit. But I built that because of wonderful folks supporting the streams. Jam is here. Hi, Jam. Happy to have you here. All right, so also you could join my Patreon. Look, I would say this: if you want to join my Patreon, wait till Saturday when it's the new month. Don't join it today. But Patreon is a great way to support me. My cut is a little bit better than Twitch, but it's options, it's preferences. Some people don't want to use Patreon. You don't have to. There are reward tiers for Patreon that are more than just like a cool emote and me thinking you're rad. I have a donation set up. Anything I get through Twitch, through Patreon, through my donations goes to me buying model kits. The Barbatos that I'm going to be building next came through Amazon gift cards, and then the rest of that, because I didn't have enough, because it's expensive kit, came from money that I've made through Patreon and all that. And so I have some donation pages that are set up, various ways to support the stream, if that's something you want to do. You're under no obligation to do that, of course. I do have an Amazon wish list. The lovely Jen Bain of the Friendshipping Podcast, which you should take a listen to if you haven't. It is an advice podcast called Friendshipping. Jen picked up this kit from my wish list, which is rad. I have some stuff on there. You could buy something on there if you wanted to. Thank you very much, John, for becoming a patron on Patreon. I really appreciate that. That's rad. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a Patreon. It exists as an option because some people like getting notifications. So sometime in February, John, there'll be a poll of a game that I'll be playing on one of my bonus streams, and you'll be able to vote on that. And then you also get a monthly Q&A and a few other things. Thank you for joining the Patreon. I appreciate that. But yeah, I've got some kits here. You can buy something off my wish list, and then I'll build it on the stream. I got some inexpensive high grades. The 1/4 scale. I have some more expensive model kits. I got that Zaku Warrior from Gundam Seed Destiny that at some point I'm just going to buy myself probably in the future because that thing just rules. The Italian is so expensive because it's like a giant, beautiful nonsense kit. It's a high grade. But I put that on there. It's expensive. But yeah, some options. Some cool kits that I would build on stream. And some Lego sets and a bunch of other things that I would like to do at some point in the future. If you don't want to buy something on Amazon, I do have another option for folks if you're interested. I love building a Zaku. The EZ, the RE100 Zaku to EZ, which is that cool green. Oh, that was a great build. That's a fun Zaku. USA Gundam Store. You could buy a gift card from that, and then you send me a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, or you whisper me here on Twitch, and you're like, hey, I bought you this. Here you go. Here's a gift card to USA Gundam Store. That's people have said they want an option that's not Amazon. That is the option that's not Amazon. It's not the same thing as a wish list, but it's the closest I can do. I have a Discord. You can join my Discord. We're going to get back to building in just a minute if folks are like, hey, what happened to the part where you build a model kit? We'll get back there. I just have to do some housekeeping. I got a Discord. You can join my Discord. People post photos of stuff they work on. Ultron's been busy lately, making things happen. Been great to see that progress. And then I got a couple of anime things to talk about later. But right now, I have anime-related videos you could watch. Pat Bear's Anime Club that I put out on Monday, because it's my twice-a-month series. Every other Monday, I put out a new episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club. Episode 9 is a thought experiment. It's me going through my reasoning and answering the question, am I going to pirate this anime that's not licensed in the U.S.? Am I going to watch Dorohedoro? Or am I not going to watch it? Ultron says work has been slow. Hey, I hear you, buddy. I wasn't, but it's been fun watching your progress. So there's that show. I also do a weekly show called Baering the List, which is me just ranking things using Tier Maker. This week I ranked the various Black Bulls from Black Clover. And if I'm going to talk about Black Clover in just a minute. I think I did a pretty good ranking of the various members of the Black Bulls. It's something I wanted to do for a bit. All right, so let's pick a name here. So I'm using a random number generator. I have the subscriptions updated. So I have everyone here. I'm going to randomly draw a number for a subscriber, and then as long as you haven't won a kit before, so that's folks. If you haven't won a kit before, then I will not send you this God Gundam. So the hope is that I'm sending to someone that has not done that. All right, I'm clicking the thing. Oh, nope. That subscriber has won something before, so I will not be doing that. I forgot. Shoutouts to Dave Lang, who I forgot is a subscriber. You didn't just win. Don't worry, Dave Lang didn't win a model kit. That would be really funny. Hey, Dave, you won a model kit that I built, and him just being like, "What are you What are you even talking about?" I think that would be very funny. Congratulations. Let me just double check, make sure you haven't won in the past. I don't think you have. No, you have not. So please give it up for your winner of the God Gundam Master Grade. Dude wants his rug. Dude wants his rug. You are the winner. If you were in the stream before, if you're not currently in the stream, I will send you a whisper. You don't have to be here in person to win. Either way, I will be sending you a whisper. Thank you very much for being a subscriber. People have asked, like, hey, do you have to be a long time, or do you have to be like, no, somebody who was gifted a sub once won, and they were like, I didn't pay for the sub. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, you won. Someone paid for it. I think it was probably Silver Streak. But yeah, so I will be messaging Dude Wants His Rug after the stream is over to get their contact info and be able to mail them a model kit, because that's what we do around here. And then I'll try to put it in the mail as soon as I can. All right, let's get back to building now that we've gone through all that. Oh, I'm going to drink some water. I didn't do the emote, or the commands, but I got to drink water. So give me a second. It's pretty cold here in New York, and the heat is on. So it's very dry in here. It's very, very, very dry. So I got to try to keep the liquids flowing when I can. You should drink more water. Yes. The water break is important not just for me. Thank you very much, Lastbrook, for throwing that in there. But yeah, it was a nice 70 in Florida today. Well, yeah. My folks are currently vacationing in Florida. They live in South Carolina, but they're in the northern part of South Carolina, so it actually has been a little cold for them this season, but they're relaxing in southern Florida right now, and I'm happy for them. But yeah, sometimes the water break is also like, Like it's been an hour and a half of me sitting in one position and then bending over a little bit to do some work, and sometimes you just gotta like stiffen up. Maybe you're watching like maybe you got this position here on your desk and you didn't even realize you're doing that. What the autofocus. So we're gonna work on the right arm armor. We did the shoulder armor, but we won't worry about that. We'll do some armor here, and then I'm gonna talk about anime. So I got some shows to talk about. The aforementioned Black Clover. Fuck yeah, dude. Look, the shit I love about Black Clover happened in this episode. People felt down and out. Pardon me. Drank that water there. Came up a little bit. Pardon me. Drank too fast. Overwhelming odds. People needing to step up. People needing to lean on each other and make things happen. People believing in each other. And even though, like, look, you think our main dude is going to solve this problem. But still, like, when in doubt, Yami comes in, helps out, everyone's helping out, and like, they fucking did it. I love this show so much. I think Black Clover is a stellar shonen show. Does not get the credit or the love it deserves. More love than credit, I should say. Yes, there is a Mineta. There is a character that sucks shit. Definitely has a good helping up by the power of friendship. Yeah, John, it's a found family show, and I love found family. I love this like ragtag group of misfits that come together, and their misfit nature is different from person to person. Some of them have trauma. Some of them are just goofs. Some of them have deep-seated issues with and self-esteem problems, and have never felt like they belonged for whatever reason. I mean, Yami, as much as he is an outsider for having his name is Yami. He has dark magic, which is very rare, and people are scared of. But also, he's like a brute or whatever. But also, like, they make it very clear he's a foreigner, and that like foreigners and common people like having magic is messed up, and people do not like it. They do not like that he is a foreigner. It is very much part of his story, is like him finding his own acceptance and then making a cool crew of outsiders. Like that becomes his mission statement. Well, if I get to make a magic squad, I'm going to fill it with a bunch of people that don't belong anywhere else and give them a home. I just love that Asta didn't start as the OP character. No! I mean, John, the show should be about At every turn, the show tells you, in the same way, in similar way, that Sasuke is, look, despite the fact that Sasuke is emo, in many ways, is the non-emo version of Sasuke. But in Naruto, Sasuke is the one with skills and credentials, and people respect him and fear him. And his traumas are revealed, but like he's, is the character that's been like blessed by mana and like is changing ideas and is changing the game, and then like later is being like inhabited by like all of this cool shit. But the show is about a hard-working loudmouth who works hard and gets results. And as he goes, and as he progresses, he just gets better and better, and just does cooler shit and prevails. But also at every turn, Asta doesn't beat impossible odds without people helping him. He gets buffs from other magicians. He gets people guide him and support him and heal him and seal off his injuries temporarily so he can do the impossible and overcome and go past his limits. uh, and it's just a great show. Uh, and there's just full of great characters, just doing good, cool shit, and being rad as hell. And I'm just fucking into it. This episode, yeah, like I said, it ended very strongly. I'm excited to see the wrap up and where things go from there. All right, so we're gonna take our we take the hand armor off that came with it, or the hand, I should say, so that we could add more armor to this. I have to really quickly check this because this is related to a work thing. All right. Got it. Sorry, somebody just sent me a thing for my tech job tomorrow. I needed to do that. So Black Clover, I love it. You folks that have watched the streams know that's my jam. I'm just so impressed by the characters. Did I want Gotch to die? Even though he was being inhabited by an elf? No. Would I love it if this cleansing of the, reincarnation of the elf changed his fucking terrible character trait? Yeah, man, that would be great. It's not going to happen because his power is too good. I have to head to bed. Later, Pat. Have a great stream. Thank you very much, John. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for joining the Patreon. That's rad as hell. And, thank you for your support. Have a good night. All right. We'll move on to our next anime, Sorcerous, Stabber, Orphen. We get way more backstory stuff. We're as we start going through the series, we're getting more backstory. The action's keeping up. I have forgotten so much about this anime from when it was first on television, a decade, 2 decades ago, whatever that was. But I'm enjoying it. We're getting some backstory, seeing some other stuff, learning more about the, in the same way, in a similar vein of Vash's Stampede being or Kenshin. In another way, Rurouni Kenshin being a goofy character to hide his sad past. Orphen, we know Orphen's past a lot, but we're learning more about it and the choices that he had to make as his kind of magic, and it's pretty cool. I like the show a lot. It's not getting a lot of love out there, it doesn't feel like, but I appreciate it, and I think it's good. This season has a lot of whatever. So to have a show that I'm actively interested in and want to watch, there's only a couple shows this season that I'm super into, and a lot that I like just fine. So, I thought it was solid. BOFURI, way better than last week's episode. Last week's episode felt a lot of setup, unnecessary in episode 3. In this one, they're exploring this new continent. They're seeing how things work. We kind of get more of their personalities. They fight a boss they should not be able to beat, and by doing so, get some monster eggs. And there is an incredibly funny line in this. One of the monster eggs is a fox for the fast character, and the other monster egg is a turtle who has more agility than Maple. And then also, our main character, Maple, this is in a VR video game world, RPG world. She names her turtle Syrup because her name is Maple. And that should be a good indication of what kind of story we're dealing with here, what kind of characters we've got. It's an action-adventure series, but it has a lot of slice-of-life elements to it. It is a cute, fun show. I recommend BOFURI if you have Funimation or Hulu, because it is just a good goddamn time, and it's fun, and I like the friendship elements of it. In the open, we have not seen it in the anime, but in the closing animation, it suggests that this turtle, can become giant. Um, Also, there's a move that Maple learns called cover something or other, which just puts you in front of your party mate. Um, but she uses it to teleport. So it actually increases her mobility because now she can teleport to where her very fast swashbuckler class friend is. Uh, Look, it's just a lovely show. Like if you're looking to add another show this season, is it great? No. Is it good? Yeah. I think I mentioned this previously, but I'll say it again because I think it's really neat. Because it's an RPG, she's very overpowered in the way that she's learned her abilities. Well, they nerfed some of her abilities because she played her class really weird. They've nerfed it so other people wouldn't be able to copy her and make a similar character, but also like limited some of her very overpowered attacks, which you don't see in a isekai. But this isn't an isekai. It's like an ever-changing MMO. So you can totally be like, yeah, no, you can't. You can only use this skill 3 times a day. No one should have this skill at your level, so you can't use it. We have to nerf this, and I think that's right. Um, uh, yeah, I think we're going to see some more action probably later in the show. I think the action has been really fun in this one. So one of the problems that this show has, which uh, the next show I'll talk about has as well, is it's in a video game. So like BOFURI does have trouble with me being like, well, if they don't beat this boss, then no one gets this treasure. It's kind of an okay reason for them to work hard. It's not a great reason, but it's an okay reason, if that makes sense. Because, like, Sword Art Online solved this problem of how do we make this valuable, or how do we make this, like, important by having them be trapped there, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. So that's how they solve the problem. BOFURI is like, you luck out and, you lose whatever. But also, Maple, I think this episode is the first time she ever took actual damage in a fight. Because it's just the way her class works. She unlocked an ability that literally, like, she hasn't been able to use yet because she hadn't taken enough damage for it to kick in. So, that's kind of interesting. I like it. I mean, it's light. I'm not trying to get bogged down in it. The show that, like, every episode I'm like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I'm still here, is the next one, which is Infinite Dendrogram, or Dendrogram. This is another virtual world one. And the way that this show attempts to keep you invested in it and to add stakes to it is there are NPCs that can die in the game and they don't come back. So they try to introduce NPCs that you care about, or at the very least, like, and then the main character doesn't want that to happen. He's met some NPCs, he doesn't want them to disappear. He has a catchphrase, which is, that doesn't sit right with me, which is not a great catchphrase. In the grand scheme of things, that doesn't sit right with me is not a baller catchphrase. Okay, so... Oh, we got her. Aristophan just subscribed. Evening. And then I got into cool emote here, thanks to Aristophan. Thank you very much for that. Of course, also thank you for subscribing. 17 months is no slouch. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, thank you for the emote. Because yeah, people can win guest emotes right now. Okay, so... Oh, I'm looking at G instead of D. That's why I can't find the piece that I am looking for. That would explain why I can't find it. We're getting towards the end of this build stream, and that's where I get a little loops. Little loop-de-loops. So yeah, Dendrogram, I don't know why the main character's brother just isn't in the episode, and I'm not sure why they stopped partying with him. I knew he was different class level or whatever. That's felt a little weird that his brother character kind of disappeared. Also, because there was a guy in a bear costume, and that was fun to watch. It was a fun character. So I was like, oh, that character's gone, huh? For now. Um, we got to see some cool animals because there's like a guy who's using a tamer class. Um, that was kind of neat. It was an alright episode. Like I said, like I kind of like the motivation of uh, I don't want to see these characters disappear, even though they're not real. Uh, they're real to me, damn it. It's kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting take. I don't, it's not my favorite show of the season by any means. Um, I don't love that like in a world where having these NPC characters that are part of your party, or in your party, I should say, not part of your party, because that's redundant in a way. That are in your party, you have some characters. Um, it seemed very weird that these two guys just happen to have the most rare, which are humanoid looking. Uh, so that's a little weird. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think if this season was overall more stacked, this would be a show that I let slide, like Asteroid in Love, which I was just like, meh, or Sentai Academy, which I was like, fuck this shit, this sucks. Um, I think this would be one that I would let drop, but because I'm talking about 5 shows that I watched in 3 days, and one of which is just an OVA that I'll talk about next. So really, I have Black Clover and Sorcerous Orphen on Tuesday, BOFURI on Wednesday, and Infinite Dendrogram on Thursday. So that's slim pickings. It's not a lot of good shit for me to be into, for watching. So I'll keep watching it because it's on. Um, I am thinking about trying a few shows that I haven't watched this season. I tried to watch Plunderer, and in the first episode, I was just like, no, I don't really want to watch this. No, I don't really care about this show. So that I tried, but that was not going to hold my interest. Um, so, as I said, because I have my Crunchyroll account, because I have Verve. I have a gifted account on Verve, which I just use my Crunchyroll login. I don't ever go to Verve to watch anything. Well, I watched on Verve, used that so that I could watch a anime that I have access to on HiDive. Because for whatever reason, HiDive has the OVA for season 2 of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So this is my first review of a show on HiDive, which I watched through, as I said, through Verve. Okay, so it's a weird thing where OVAs like this, right, are they're sometimes they are aired on television. Sometimes OVAs are aired on television. Most of the time they're not. Most of the time they appear as a Blu-ray release. They're additional materials that come out with a bonus stuff, and sometimes they're not full length. Sometimes they're like 8-minute shorts. I believe the what show is that? Oh, Aria Forza just put out one of theirs, which is based on like a Year Zero manga episode, or manga story. Um, so those are just on the Blu-ray. So they're just extras, right? They're just bonus material. So in a show like this, it is meant to titillate. The first season's one, they're leaving the dungeon that we just wrapped up. They always take place like after the season's over. First season had one, and they go into hot spring, and it's characters interacting, and it's nice. And then there's a monster, and they got to fight a monster, and it's fine. This one, they go to an island, and it's weird, and there's a swimsuit competition, and you get to see character interactions and all that, and there are a couple characters that I really enjoy that are in there, and there's some silliness, and then it just gets weird, and it's really fucking weird, y'all. Like, I don't know how else to describe it other than to say this show gets fucking this thing gets weird. It's like it's one of those things where like it's almost like they were like, well, we know that you wanted to see these characters in swimsuits because you bought the Blu-ray and you expect this weirdness to be on the OVA on the Blu-ray. So we'll give you what you want. But also, we're going to make it weird as shit. And it ends, I don't know, it ends so weird. Also, they play up the character. One of my least favorite things, because it's just a bummer. There's a character named Daphne in the show, and she has the ability. She has premonitions, which is not a skill that many people have. But nobody believes her, except for Belle. She left her pillow behind at the house that she had to leave because her guild broke up, her familia. And she knows where it is based on a vision. And like Belle's like, okay. And he goes and looks for it and it's there. And they chalk it up to being a coincidence. But like, this dude believes her. And he's like the only one. And it's a fucking bummer, man. She's got like an ability, but people like don't take her seriously about it. That's gotta suck ass. I don't know. She seemed neat. Looked like she was gonna join the guild. And I would have liked that because she seems like a cool character. But instead, we got the fox lady that is just gonna be their maid or whatever. Bleh. Less interested in her. I don't know. Look, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Trash? Yes. Is it trash that I watch and enjoy? Yes. But there's look, we're not talking about Senton Academy anymore, which is just garbage and bad. And I'm glad that I stopped watching that. But I have my limits, right? Like, I like some stuff that is just like, well, that was some fun action, and I like this world, and I like RPG mechanics in an anime, and, well, God, this is becoming a harem, but the characters are fun, and as long as he's clueless about it, that's kind of fun. But I have my limits. I'm not watching that anime about the fantasy world, the red light district in the fantasy world, and these dudes who are like, categorizing or like they want to experience every kind of different female character like creature in the universe. That's an anime. I'm not watching that shit. I don't even know how to watch that. I think it might be Funimation exclusive. I don't even know. I'm not watching that thing. Heard about that one and I was just like, no, I'm good. I do have my limits, as I said. You know, there are, like, the fact that I watch isekai. I watch, main characters who are, in some ways, never struggle or have any problems, where their only problem is, like, God, in another world with my smartphone, Toya's only issue is, oh no, too many people want to marry me. He ends the first season, or the only season. The end of the series is him agreeing to marry 4 women. 2 of them are sisters. And then it's revealed later that in the future he's married 7 women. And there's 2 characters we haven't met yet. And he marries 2 characters that we've already met. One who's going to be in the future, so we don't know her yet. Or she's young now, but she was there. It's nothing bad ever happens. Literally in the opening, you're like, oh, this could be the villain of the series. No, that guy shows up at the very end, and then he's just nice to him. There's like a beast man that you're like, oh, is this gonna be scary? No, everything works out great. He's perfect. It's fine. Uh, it's like the lightest of light, complete and utter trash, totally avoidable. No good reason for me to like it. I do. I liked Death March, which was like there were times where I was like, I can't with this fucking show, because another like everything goes right, and that one adds beyond hero worship. It adds like, well, I want to save these people and they're slaves, so I guess they'll just become my slaves. So I'll treat them better than other people will. And you're like, hey, what the fuck, anime? The fuck is going on right now, anime? What the shit? One of my favorite things about that show is it's a guy who's like he's a programmer. It's a games programmer. He like fixes shit and makes things happen. Um, and he is working on a game, and then he comes in and works on another game, and he goes to sleep, and then he wakes up and he's dreaming that he's inside a weird amalgamation of those two games, and then he realizes he's not in a dream. He's in a younger version of his own body in this world. And then he goes on from there. And the very first comment for the very first episode of that show was, I liked it better when he was just working on games, which I just thought was like such a great, honest critique of the genre. And then also like just somebody like, I don't know, I like this dude that's like trying to make video games, and not the part where he is a young version of himself in a fantasy world. I just thought that was like a really funny critique of the genre. Oh, I'm yawning. Sorry, folks. We'll be wrapping up in a couple minutes anyway. I've just started the head unit, but oh, there are stickers involved in the head unit, so I'm not gonna. I'll start with stickers, because also I have the important thing to decide. Are we gonna go with clear eyes or green eyes? And the answer is green. I mean, that's not an important decision. The answer is green eyes, because there's other green on this kit. We're gonna go with green. We're gonna go with we'll go with the one with green, not the one with clear. So sorry, that actually there wasn't a big question there. I'll just do this one last thing on here, and then we'll wrap it up. My next build stream will be Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you can join me for that, where I will be doing wrapping this up, because we got to do. I don't know how long the stream will take to do this, but we'll do. We'll finish the head, and then we'll build the backpack, and then the weapons, and then maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll start This will take 2 hours to do. I don't know. Or we can finish this up and we can do start the Barbatos. But thank you very much for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time here for model kit building and hanging out and doing all the things. Just getting organized a little bit here. As I said, Saturday, next thing. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers. This was a great night for subscribers, for new and old. Thank you so much for supporting the stream and being here. We had a constant good amount of folks in the chat, which is always nice to see. Once again, congratulations to Dude Wants His Rug, who I will be messaging after the stream is over. Aristophan, thanks for being here, as always, my friend. And of course, thank you for renewing your subscription. But yeah, I will see you in the next Build with Bear. I'm going to run an ad. You don't have to watch it, but it is helpful if you do. Bye-bye.